The following is a production of Fenix Media. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the company or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Here goes the last DJ.
Gentlemen, I wash my hands of this weirdness.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another brand new episode of the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Thursday, January 7th. Almost said June 7th. January 7th.
That was June 7th. This has been a long trip. I wonder if I'm still employed.
We are your daily dose of laughs and levity in a crazy, crazy world. I'm joined by my co-host, who you just heard, Mr. Tony Stanfilippo. Tony, how you doing today?
Doing great today, Chris. It's great to be on the show. It's great to be home, having fun. A lot of visits underway, so the quote-unquote rock star life, right? The gone all day, out all night, home late, up early kind of
seems like every time you come home, you have to set up like a sign-up sheet for people just to occupy your time.
Yeah. Hey, it's nice. It's not a bad feeling. It is great to see people. It's fun. I get to explain what I do. I got to get back for a radio show, and you know, a lot of them, they know I do a radio show, but then some of them, it's like they're hearing it for the first time. So.
Well, anytime we get new listeners, that's always a good thing.
Yeah, so. No, definitely. It's a good thing. So, but it's a great morning. Great to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and kick off the show the way we do each and every day with a question for my co-host. Tony, have you ever been to a hospital for any medical procedure, and for how long were you there?
Yeah, I have, obviously. We'll go old school. When I was in first grade, I climbed Sea Hill in Carson City, and I went hiking with some friends, which I would not advise for first graders to go do. And we were walking this path. We were coming down from the sea, and then the little path gave way. It was just this little dirt path, and I ended up tumbling. It'll probably seem a little more dramatic because I was a kid, but I would say I probably went down 50 or 60 feet down the hill, just tumbling all the way down. It's like a Simpsons episode, you know, where Homer doesn't jump the gorge and you go down the hill.
Right.
And so I tumbled down the hill and I split my head open and my knee, and I could see my kneecap. There was blood pouring down my face. I remember screaming like, "Oh!" And I guess you can echo it through the mountains. And they had to get like the ambulance had to climb the mountain and get me, and luckily I'm here, so I didn't die. So.
Right.
But at the time, yeah, I was in the hospital for a day, and that's actually, believe it or not, the longest I've been personally in a hospital my entire life was in first grade.
And I assume you probably wouldn't want to be there any longer than you had to be, right?
No. Especially I would imagine first grade version of me was a antsy little dude, so I wouldn't imagine that being too fun.
Yeah, well, all that goes to say that a Chinese man and his parents have agreed to move out of a Beijing hospital after living there continuously for 6 years.
No, thank you. This would be your sound like, nope.
No one really likes spending more time than they have to in hospitals, which is why most people can't wait to get discharged. But that's not always the case. In 2014, a man surnamed Tian was admitted to a top Beijing hospital with symptoms that included nausea, vomiting, and unsteady gait. He was supposed to spend a few days there after a medical procedure, but following a dispute regarding his medical bill, he ended up living there for 6 years along with his parents. This weird saga finally came to an end last week when the hospital squatters finally agreed to move out. In 2014, Tian showed up to the hospital complaining of having experienced nausea and vomiting for 2 months and of being on shaky legs for 9 days. His parents accompanied him and stayed with him for the entire period that he received treatment for his health problems. But when the time came for him to be discharged, Tian learned that he had to pay for his stay, so he accused the hospital of administering him an inappropriate treatment and refused to leave. Tian and his parents turned his hospital room into their own home, bringing in pots and pans and filling the place with groceries and other personal belongings. Despite several attempts from the hospital to get them to leave, the three stayed put, even spending the Lunar New Year, a holiday traditionally associated with families gathering at their homes in the hospital.
Is that what that is?
That is.
No. When you go to Panda Express and you take their survey to get the free appetizer, which I highly recommend if you like Panda Express, they always ask you would you like to know more about the lunar holiday? And I usually say no.
Well, now you know.
Now I know.
The hospital took the family to court on several occasions, and in 2019 even waived demands for 1.26 million yuan, which is about $195,000, in medical costs just to have them leave. They provided proof that Tian didn't need any medical attention and could be discharged, arguing that he was occupying hospital resources that could be used to treat real patients. However, last year, Tian countersued the hospital, alleging medical negligence, and the saga continued. Last week, Judge Lu Shengli of Beijing Zheng District People's Court ruled that Tian and his parents were to finally leave the hospital ward they had been squatting in for the past 6 years, but also that they were entitled to compensation from the hospital. That is crazy. So the hospital ended up having to pay them after they occupied those resources for 6 years. That's crazy.
It's ridiculous. I couldn't imagine being there because that was going to be my question, but you answered it during the story, was how expensive would that damn bill, though?
Well, in the U.S., it would have been way more expensive. Ooh. I mean, $195,000 is like a week in the hospital around here.
Fun fact for Phoenix fans, I hate hospitals, and it takes a lot for me to even step foot in one. Like, and it's personal reasons, but like I gotta be in a lot of pain to go, man. Like I am a hothead. I just don't go. There's a lot of stigma for me on that.
And the food's not that great either. So
that's what my dad said. He, when he got out, he's just like, I was sick of the food.
Yeah. So what's the incentive for staying so long?
Yeah.
Other than probably being homeless
very
otherwise.
Good stuff. At the hoo-ha wahan.
Well, folks, we have a wonderful show lined up for you today. It is Thursday, the third day. Let's talk about today's show, shall we?
The third day, all right? Monday, 1 day. Tuesday, 2 day. Wednesday, when? Huh? What day? Thursday. The third day, okay?
Okay.
All right, it is Thursday, and as we do on Thursdays, we look at America's penis and the strange things that happen down there. Yes, I'm talking about Florida, man. We have another edition of Today Years Old. Our call-in topic today is Zoom horror stories. When did video conferencing go wrong for you? We have a segment called I Saw the Sign.
And it opened up your eyes.
It did. We close out the day with This Day in History, and Tony is up next with the entertainment news. Folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
How to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
The most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks. This is the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Thursday, January 7th. Now we have a little thing called the Fenix Line, which is our 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week voicemail line, giving you guys the opportunity to chime in on anything whatsoever. Maybe you're sitting in a hospital room for the last 6 years listening to us right now.
I think you got vacation on the mind. Hot, June.
Hotel. I know. But if you are in a hospital and you do want to call us and let us know about your experience, go ahead and do so on the Fenix line at 855-FENIX-RADIO. That's 855-FENIX-RDO or 855-336-4973. All we ask is that you keep it entertaining. We'll compile those together, put them out in a future show. Now, it is the second segment of this show, and you know what that means. Tony's here with the entertainment news.
Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, January 7th, 2021. Here is your Filippo Fast Five. Sacha Baron Cohen. Yes,
Corn?
Corn. Sacha Baron Cohen. Says there won't be another Borat movie. He's going to retire Borat, and he's going to put him in the cupboard.
Probably for the best.
That's all right, but put it away. Is President Trump. Dr. Dre's home was hit by burglars after his brain aneurysm hospitalization. People are savages, dude.
Yeah.
That was awful. Elizabeth Olsen says Doctor Strange sequel halts filming due to COVID surge. No. Kim and Kanye are reportedly divorcing. Woohoo! I don't have sound bites, so. Trevor Lawrence, Clemson quarterback, declares for NFL draft, skipping his senior season.
Woohoo!
Duh. It's going to be a Jaguar.
He's going to be a Jet.
Yeah, no, I think he'd be a Jaguar.
Oh.
Maybe a Jaggy. Shit, I don't know who you play for. Would you play for the Jags or the Jets?
Jags.
Yeah, I would.
All day long.
Yeah, it's warmer. It's better. The owner seems to have more money. I mean, all you have to do is just do your little 5-year, you do your 4-year, 5-year rookie deal and get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Raise your stock, put yourself on the market, and go where you want to go.
And when Minshew burns out, then you step in and become the star.
Oh, I bet you Minshew ends up on the Broncos or something.
Ugh, probably.
Minshew! I digress. All right. On to the entertainment news. AMC Theaters is trying to raise $125 million as the bankruptcy fight continues.
That's it?
That's all they need, man.
Oh, I'll write a check
they're
tomorrow.
They're doing everything. So literally about $1,000 a day, you could save AMC Theaters.
Where's Sally Struthers when you need her?
Yeah, we need the sad music. The
In
Sarah
the
McLachlan's.
arms of the angels.
Movie theaters are dying across the nation, and only you, for just $1,000 a day can bring it back to life. Cue the Evanescence song. Wake me up inside. All right. The largest movie theater chain in the U.S. has been in financial troubles most of 2020. Again, duh. Well, 2021, at least, is later in the year, may offer greener pastures here and now. Things continue to look grim. AMC is attempting to raise, like it says in the headline, $125 million, but they're going to do a new stock offering to help stay afloat for the short term. According to a new filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, AMC is attempting to sell as many as 50 million shares of stock in new round in funding. This is a strategy the company has already employed in 2020, raising more than $100 million with previous stock offering. The filming warns that if they fail to raise the funds they need, bankruptcy is likely coming. Oh, man. So the rest of, like, one of the biggest things they're fighting, obviously, is the pandemic. And then you got streaming services like HBO Max, I say ABC Max, HBO Max, as well as theaters not being open. Yeah, there's a lot of challenges. I guess you got to do what you got to do to stay afloat. It really stinks. I know Regal is wanting to find a way to get back open and everything in the LA and New York markets, because those have been shut down the entire time. They never even got to experience cheapy movies.
Yeah,
like, it was just everything being done. Being an avid movie buff and fan and all that good stuff, it really is one of those things that's just whatever we could do to get it to stay afloat. I'm all for it.
Well, and I think ultimately that these big chain theaters need to change their business model around a little bit, just based on everything that's going on. But, Alamo Drafthouse, they're still killing it. Our local Galaxy theaters, they're pretty similar to the Alamo Drafthouse sort of feel with what they offer with beer and wine and quality food. I think the big boys need to do that as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It would be nice to do something great like that. The Alamo Drafthouse, wonderful, wonderful theater experience. I wish Nevada had one.
Me too.
Colorado's got 2 of them, which is great, but of course, like me living in Fort Collins, it's a little harder to go see.
A little bit of a drive.
Yeah, but I tell you what, the experience is great. So if you guys have one in your town, definitely worth checking out. So moving on from movie theater news to today's is all kind of just random.
That's okay.
Random. Like, seriously, it's all random today. Punky Brewster, she's back. Peacock knocked it out of the park with Saved by the Bell reboot. Yeah, it's a matter of...
I don't know about knocking it out of the park.
Matter of opinion on that one, and that's not my opinion. Now its next classic revival is coming up to the plate. Now batting, Punky Brewster.
Nope.
It'll feature the return of Soil Moon Fry, and will also feature the return of Punky's best friend, Cherry. She's coming back, Cherry Johnson.
Right on.
Yeah, I thought she was also in Family Matters.
I thought so too.
Yeah. Thanks to Variety, we have also our first look at the new project and the full cast, which is going to be 10 episodes. It's going to hit the service of the Peacock on February 25th. The original show aired from 84 to 88, followed the adventures of Punky, played by Fry, a young girl being raised by her foster dad, Henry, played by George Gaines, which obviously he's not coming back. In the revival, we discover that Punky is now a single mother of 3 children trying to get her life back on track. Didn't we do that with Fuller House? Yeah. As for the other parent, that would be her ex-husband, Travis, who is played by Freddie Prinze Jr.
Seriously?
Yep. Freddie Prinze in the Punky.
Have you seen him in that, I want to say it's a Geico commercial? He looks like a cancer patient.
No.
I mean, he looks unfathomably thin.
Yeah, he looks super thin in this thing. Like, he looks like I do in some of my jeans. They're super baggy, even though they're really small. The show also stars Noah Cattell, Oliver De Los Santos, and Lauren Lindsay Donzies. And, it definitely looks like a Fuller House. I think they're right. I think all these shows are writing what the success of Fuller House was coming back.
Exactly.
The only problem when you bring back nostalgia shows is there's only been one successful show to do this, and it wasn't based off of a show, it was based off of a movie. And that, my friends, is Cobra Kai. They did that awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm telling you, You watch Cobra Kai. Skip Saved by the Bell. I thought Saved by the Bell was awful. I mean, it is. Saved by the Bell was horrible back when we were kids. We just happened to like it, but it is really bad. So
I'm holding out for the Alf reboot.
Willie! I like cats! That's what I do in Milmac. Why does my nose look like a penis? Hey, Willie!
Good old Gordon Chumway.
Oh, Chumway. Oh, yeah, this is a random story. So, your favorite rapper, Cardi B, yeah, and we're not going to talk about the wet ass pierogi. No. Like on this week's episode of WWE's Monday Night Raw, there was a scene where a wrestler named Angel Garza and legend Tori Wilson, as it was Legend Night, he tried to give her a rose. She got rid of him by saying Cardi B, Kendall Jenner, and Ariana Grande were in the other room living their best life, and Cardi looked especially good that night. He should go introduce himself. So he went into this room, and she obviously wasn't there. After Cardi B saw this, she had a few words for Vince McMahon. WWWTTTFFFF. Cry, laugh, cry, shrug emoji. This is not how my WWE debut was supposed to be. Vince McMahon, count your effing days.
Oh my God,
yeah.
who the hell cares?
This is funny. And then she lost her mind and says, what a great night for me. I remember your first debut with two dudes you used to be with. Just wow, OMG, I'm gagging. I'm so hype. And then later there was another wrestler that just said, yeah, if Cardi B was really here, I'd kick her ass. And then she responded, that was just back and forth.
Yeah.
See, this is what I mean. I was pulling straws for a second, so.
And aside from her WWE beef, she also is at war with Peppa Pig right now.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so she's fighting the WWE and Peppa Pig.
She just needs to go away.
Yeah, she does. And then I know she was in the news last week because she's like, I would not let my daughter listen to my music. Well, no one should have to listen to your music, and I can't believe that WAP was a thing. Like,
it's
it's crazy.
The degeneration of our civilization.
Yeah. Well, more random news here. We have one more random, and then we'll go to the birthdays because they're punny today, so they're fun. All right. So, Night of the Living Dead is coming back. Yeah. In a children's book.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this is fun. Apparently, there's going to be a Night of the Living Dead children's book from Gory Books. They're available to pre-order right now. Below, here's the official description. Introducing Gory Books, a series of children's book adaptations of iconic horror properties from Broke Horror Fan and Winter Entertainment. The debut installment is George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. It says literally, this produce is now officially licensed by Image 10. It should say this product,
yeah.
But they wrote produce. Explore the foundations of fright through intriguing illustrations by Will Perkins as a group of strangers barricade themselves in an old farmhouse to ward off an enraging plague of flesh-eating zombies. 3 variant covers are available. It is pretty cool looking, these covers. I think that's kind of neat. I don't know how. I guess you could do that for like the young adult, kind of like how we had Goosebumps and what is that? Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Like those were all pretty dark. So this is actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, I'll probably pick it up for Corbin.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Well, that's it for your really random entertainment news. Let's dance on into the birthday, shall we? It's my birthday! Oh, yeah! Oh man, this birthday's today. This failed Superman rolled Snake Eyes, and on that roll, but it's no con that this national treasure has a face for the rock off the bay in San Fran. Look out, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's a dust storm, it's not Carson City. Nah, it's just Big Daddy's birthday. That's Nicolas Cage. He's 56. Don't put Clint in the locker. He may go rogue and put the hurt on you. He was born to be a hawk with an eye for avenging. Local superstar and, local superstar here in Nevada, Jeremy Renner is 49. Dynamic quarterback who was unanimous selection as a 2019 NFL MVP after a historic season with the Baltimore Ravens. He was the 2016 Heisman Trophy winner at Louisville and was selected 32nd overall in the 2018 draft by the Ravens. Screw the Ravens. Lamar Jackson is 23. Hate the Ravens. Sorry. American-born English actress who had her major breakout role as Maggie Green on The Walking Dead. She later starred as Greta Evans in 2016, The Bay. In 2019, she was in a short-lived show, Whiskey Caliber. It got shot like Martha Wayne, but it's okay. Maggie's back in black. Laura Cohen, 38. She's a good-looking girl, too. It's never enough for this Denver native. No, he's bad company, but he knows the way of the fish. The fish? The fish. Wash the bleeding and all that away, because he's on the wrong side of heaven and the righteous side of hell. The Five-Finger Death Punch lead vocalist Ivan Moody is 40. And his foot is loose and he's all right because he's on the highway to the danger zone. Keep playing with them boys, Kenny Loggins. It's your birthday, 72.
Wow.
And lastly, the sleaziest, the douchiest, the lamest nerd of all time, Screech! Dustin Diamond is 44. Those are your birthdays today for not June 7th, January 7th.
January 7th, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, folks, that does it for the entertainment news. When we come back, we explore America's penis and the strange things that happen down there. Yes, it's time for Florida Man. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after these messages.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Listen live at Fenix Media. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. Indeed. This is the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Thursday, January 7th. Now, we are all over social media with many of you watching us right now as we speak on Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Now, if you want to get a hold of us on social, I can be reached at facebook.com/Kristian Fenix Radio. That's Kristian with a K, Phoenix with an F, radio, of course, with an R, or on Instagram and Twitter at Phoenix Media Radio. Tony's available at facebook.com/Tony.Sanfilippo. No, Tony. Yeah, Tony. God.
Words are hard today.
They are. Tony.Sanfilippo. That's SANFILIPPO.94 or on Instagram at Tony.Sanfilippo81. You know, we got to get you
I got to fix that Facebook one somehow because I never picked 94. I have no associations with 9 or 4, just so anyone knows. I didn't pick that.
Very weird. We'll get that fixed for you. But in any case, that's where we can be reached. Now, it is Thursday, and as we do on Thursdays, we explore America's penis and the strange things that happen down there. It's always a good time. It is time for Florida Man.
Oh, good for you.
Good for you, weirdos in Florida. All right. Florida. We're going down to Pinellas County, Florida, where a Florida man denied syringes where his this is what it says, all right? A Florida man denied syringe. He was denied syringes. See, this is the hard thing when you're Ron Burgundy and you read what they write. Right. Like, yeah, I flub up a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. But I'm just going to have to fix it myself. A Florida man was denied syringes where his... after jail officials found them in his rectum during a strip search.
Ouch.
Wesley Scott, 40, was arrested on Friday on an outstanding warrant charging him with drug possession. According to WPLG, when Scott was searched at the jail, officers found 3 syringes inside his rectum. Scott claimed he found the syringes and they're not his. They're not
I don't know how
I don't know what happened. Although he did not explain how they ended up in his buttocks. He is being charged with introducing contraband into a correctional facility, and his bond was set up to $5,000. Wesley Scott, you're not very smart, sir.
Hold on to your butt.
I don't know how they got there. Wow. Okay, so this one's a fun one. Florida man arrested after argument over a cheesesteak. Here we go. Odessa, Florida. Florida man was arrested on disorderly conduct charge after he got into an argument with the cashier over a cheesesteak sandwich. Cheesesteak.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Doesn't it, though? Joseph Lagana of Port Richey was at the Gun Highway Flea Market in Odessa on Sunday when he got into an argument with the cashier about receiving a sesame seed bun on a Philly cheesesteak. Okay, I wouldn't get into an argument over it, but according to Pasco County Sheriff's Office affidavit, a deputy called to defuse the situation said Lagana was being loud and argumentative to patrons at the flea market and he was heavily intoxicated. No sesame seed on my cheesesteak. I don't want it. It's got to be on an Amorosa roll.
You know what? To be fair, a true cheesesteak has to be on an Amorosa roll, but it's not worth getting into a fight over.
No, you just whatever. It is what it is. Laguna was booked into jail on a misdemeanor charge, and his was much less than the last gentleman's, as he is only on a $100 bond versus that $5,000.
Way to go, a-hole!
Oh, another a-hole down in Pasco County, Florida, as a Florida man is in jail facing a charge for domestic battery. The Pasco County Sheriff's Office told WFLA that Robert Houston became so enraged when he learned his father helped deliver him at birth. He shoved a pizza in his face. Investigators don't know why that the news would set the 33-year-old suspect off. They said he held his father down in a chair and yelled at him. The victim began to flail around trying to get the defendant off of him, at one point he went outside and waited for law enforcement. When law enforcement arrived, the suspect walked up to a deputy, turned around with his hands behind him, and told him he knew he was going to jail. Investigators found a slice of pizza on a chair. Cheese and sauce covered the area. The father told deputies he went to walk his dogs and Houston was on the front porch waiting for a pizza delivery. When the dad got back, that's when the chaos began. 2 other relatives corroborated the dad's story. Houston was booked on Thursday and being held on a $150 bond. So
Has
right
the
in the
planet
middle.
gone mad?
Why'd you give birth to me? You gonna eat this Domino's pizza, Daddy? You're gonna eat it.
Describing the pizza, I halfway expected there'd be like a chalk outline, officially by the police, a little number tag next to it.
Little pepperoni outline there. we put sausages on his eyeballs. Oh, man. Let's go on down. Florida reptile store owner put lizard in mouth, smacked employees with critter in attack.
Isn't that beer?
Oh, man. Ruh-roh. He looks like a drugged out Aaron Lewis from Stained. He's certainly got a taste for the unusual. A Florida reptile store owner is now notorious after a man died during a... Okay, so he was made notorious because a man died during a 2012 insect eating contest at the business. Now he's behind bars after he smacked employees with a bearded dragon lizard and even put it in his mouth during a bizarre attack. Benjamin Siegel faces several charges, including battery and cruelty to animals. The incident on Friday at Ben Smeagol Reptiles. Oh, I guess it's Siegel, but Ben Smeagol. Dragons and mouses. His Deerfield Beach business. The eccentric owner is seen on surveillance tape throwing the lizard in the air and swinging it around by the tail. Smeagol is also reportedly seen slapping his employees with the helpless critter and throwing Gatorade on the workers at the store in West Hillsborough Boulevard. It's unclear if the lizard was killed, but Siegel faces cruelty and animal charges. Wow.
I bet.
Oh, right. Good for you.
And lastly, today in Florida man threatens to kill neighbors with kindness. Aww. Acts of kindness are usually sweet, but not this one. A Florida man was arrested for aggravated battery, aggravated assault after threatening to kill two neighbors with kindness. Well, I slapped the thing. Milton resident 30-year-old Brian Stewart wasn't referring to a traditional act of love. He meant his machete-style knife he called kindness. A neighbor told the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office that he could hear Stewart tell someone that he was going to kill them with kindness. After the neighbor approached his house out of concern for the people in the home, Stewart allegedly came out of the house with a knife and a half-inch wound into the victim. So,
ouch.
That's all that it has on
You're
that.
so dumb. You are really dumb.
Yeah,
for real.
It's like, what do you do? Oh, okay. Then it says, another neighbor said that at midnight he could hear Stewart say someone in the house said he was going to kill them with kindness. So this guy, he has a full-on mullet, totally nutty. But that was all it says. He was charged with aggravated assault, deadly weapon without the intent to kill, and battery. He is in jail with a $20,000 bond. So he has the highest bond of all the idiots in Florida. And that's it for Florida Man.
Folks, Florida Man never disappoints. Now, when we come back, we have a segment called Today Years Old. We've done it a couple times, and it's always a good time. Folks, don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone, She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix radio show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back. This is the Kristian Fenix radio show. It is Thursday, January 7th. Now, if you missed a portion of the show or you want to go back and catch up on any of the previous shows, it is easy enough to do so. Head over to phoenixmedia.us, click on the show's link, scroll on down to the Kristian Fenix radio show. From there, you can get video, you can get audio as well, or head over to wherever you get podcasts, whether it's Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor Breaker, TuneIn, iHeart, about 20 in all. While you're there, be sure to subscribe. That way you always have the latest episode. Leave a review. Let us know what you think and tell your friends, because sharing is caring. Now, speaking of sharing is caring, something that we like to do every once in a while is a segment called Today Years Old. People sharing things that they were today years old when they learned. And so some fun, interesting historical facts or just facts in general. So in this case, I'm going to use the Batman transition just because it's fun as we go between stories.
I was going to say, you could see the Batmobile, the one from the Adam West and Burt Ward series down at the Carson Nugget.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
There's a big, have to go down there.
There's a big sign. It's like, come see the Batmobile from the show. So
all right,
it's in Carson City.
Well, let's kick off with this first one. I was today years old that when I learned that in 2018, a hacker broke into people's routers, about 100,000 of them, and patched their vulnerabilities up so they couldn't be abused by other hackers. I mean, basically a hacker with a heart of gold. It's crazy that somebody would do that as opposed to take advantage of people.
Right.
Oh.
Whoa.
He's going into my modem.
Whoa. What the hell is going on?
You've got mail.
Welcome.
Oh, I don't miss that sound at
all.
all.
Oh my gosh. It freaked me out. Like, I thought we were having technical difficulties.
No.
It was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Just a sound effect.
We're going on broadband.
Brown band.
Brown band.
All right, moving on.
Oh, boy.
Today, years old when I learned that after losing her position in a university's anatomy department in 1938, Rita Levi-Montalcini set up a laboratory in her bedroom and studied the growth of nerve fibers in chicken embryos. This work led to her discovery of nerve growth factor, for which she was awarded a Nobel Prize in 1986. So it goes to show that your little side projects at home, little science experiment in the bathroom, might get you a Nobel Prize at some point.
Yeah. Oh, Nobel Prize. Every time I hear that now, I always think of the Big Bang Theory.
I would win you get $1 million check, reward, cash. I don't know. They probably do it in small bills or a metal suitcase, but that would be worth winning the prize.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't know it came with $1 million win.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's move on. I was today years old when I learned about the symbiotic relationship of wolves and ravens. Ravens will lead wolves to prey so that they can take a portion of the leftovers, play games of tail chasing with each other, and develop individual friendships. I had no idea.
I did not know that. Do you wonder if that's why they kind of had like the wolves and ravens ties in Game of Thrones a little bit?
Ooh, probably.
Because they did reference a lot of that.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I never
that's
put
crazy.
that together, but hey, that makes a lot of sense.
It does, because I'm also this days old learning that. So there you go.
All right. Let's move on. Here's one that's definitely in our realm. I was today years old when I learned that when filming the TV series The Mandalorian in 2019, the crew ran out of Stormtrooper costumes, so they reached out to the local branch of a Star Wars fan organization whose members came to join the filming in their own homemade Stormtrooper costumes. I had no
Really?
idea.
I didn't either. You couldn't tell.
No. Well, you know, the 501st, which I'm sure they're referencing here, their costumes have to be screen accurate. So it makes sense.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. So
Very, very cool stuff. All right, moving on. I was today years old when I learned that in January 1960, white jazz pianist Dave Brubeck canceled a 25-day tour of colleges and universities across the American South after 22 schools had refused to allow his black bassist, Eugene Wright, to perform. He also canceled a TV show where they didn't want him to show. Good guy. Obviously, you want to support your bandmates, and I think that was the right stance to take.
I agree. I think that is definitely the way to go with that.
All right, moving on with today years old. Here's something interesting. Given the age of technology and the world that we live in, I was today years old when I learned that paper books still outsell ebooks by a huge margin, even among young people. Now, for me, I love the feel of a paper book and turning the pages and reading. I'm not a big fan of the ebooks, but you would have figured that at least, you know, the younger generations, they'd be all about the ebooks. Guess not.
No, I personally, I like the real book. Like, I'd much rather flip the pages and know where I left off than just read. Because I mean, you stare at a screen enough. It's a nice break away from an electronic screen all day.
Well, that's the thing. You know, books have a unique smell to them and feel, and you know, there's nothing like it. So you know, after you listen to our show, go ahead and sit down with a good book, and you know, keep the trend going.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's keep moving. I was today years old when I learned that honeybee venom rapidly kills aggressive breast cancer cells, and when the venom's main component is combined with existing chemotherapy drugs, it is extremely efficient at reducing tumor growth in mice. Boy, we need to be doing more with that. I mean, anything that can cure breast cancer or put it to bay is absolutely worth it.
Oh, absolutely. It's huge.
So cool. So cool, the advancements in medicine and technology. It's only going to get better as we go along. Hopefully, society remains.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
Oh. Let's move on. I was today years old when I learned that after Marcelo Bielsa became manager of Leeds United Football Club, that's soccer for us here in the U.S., he found out that the average fan had to work 3 hours to pay for a match ticket. He called his players together and made them pick up litter from around the training ground for 3 hours to appreciate how the fans labored for their passion. It's a great way to do it. I mean, obviously, athletes, you know, and especially in soccer, football in Europe, they're some of the highest paid athletes in the world. And, you know, there's that disconnect between what the fans have to do to afford a ticket to what they're doing to entertain those fans. Might be something that the NFL would want to take under their belt.
Right.
All right. Let's see. Moving on. I was today years old when I learned that in September 1945, Australian journalist Wilfred Burchett defied U.S. restrictions and snuck into Hiroshima by train. Burchett was the first to tell the world about the effects of radiation on the victims of the bombing, which the U.S. denied both before and after his story was published. And of course, you know, history tells us that the fallout was almost worse than the bomb itself.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. I was today years old when I learned that there are otter gangs in Singapore who fight for territories. It is well followed by the locals and the press. Each gang has names and reputations. That's crazy. I wonder if they're the Sharks and the Jets and flashing switchblades and knives.
Yeah, for reals, otters?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ooh.
This is my territory.
And it's funny because I'll post this on our Facebook page.
When you say otter gang, I thought of the Muppets, the otters, like the Jughead, like the Jug Band Christmas or whatever that was.
Yeah. I'm going to post a picture on our Facebook page, but you'll see a picture of two rival otter gangs getting ready to go at it. It's interesting. It's scary and cute all at the same time. Let's move on. I was today years old when I learned that a man named Goran Kropp from Sweden rode his bicycle to Nepal, climbed Mount Everest alone without Sherpas or bottled oxygen, then cycled back to Sweden again. That's some initiative.
That is. Is that true?
Apparently. There's a picture of the guy. And
that seems pretty hardcore. I don't know.
And, it was probably done in the 70s, 80s. So, it's not like the, turn of the century where, people are like, yeah, I climbed Mount Everest.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It seems crazy because don't people, like, when they climb Nepal, or like he climbed Everest, right?
Correct.
Yeah, doesn't a lot of people die on the way up there?
That they do, and they leave the bodies there too.
Yeah.
It just freezes over. And then finally, in today years old, I was today years old when I learned that a Guatemalan boy saw soldiers come into his village and murder his parents along with the rest of the village. Was adopted and raised in an abusive household by one of the men who massacred the villagers, and later gave testimony that sent the killer to prison with a 6,000-year sentence. Oh, I feel so sorry for that kid. I mean, could you imagine having that life?
Oh, no.
Oh, that'd be awful. Well, folks, that does it for the first hour, but don't fret, there's still plenty ahead with our second hour. We're going into our long break. Listen to the news, take a potty break, get some tea like Tony's going to do, and we'll see you guys in about 7 minutes. You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. To explore our complete lineup, head over to phoenixmedia.us or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Phoenix Media Radio.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Nina Maria Potts for the latest world news. Joe Biden has been certified as America's next US president after Trump supporters stormed the Capitol building. The revolt came after President Donald Trump addressed a large crowd in Washington, D.C., ordering them to show strength. As a result, 4 people have been confirmed dead, including a woman who was shot in the chest. After the mayhem had been contained by armed police, U.S. lawmakers reconvened. The result, Vice President Mike Pence confirmed, was a win for Biden, who will now take office from January the 20th.
The announcement of the state of the vote by the President of the Senate shall be deemed a sufficient declaration of the persons elected President and Vice President of the United States, each for the term beginning on the 20th day of January, 2021.
Meanwhile, senior Democrats have written to the vice president calling for Donald Trump to be removed from power. Sarah Walton reports.
Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee say the Vice President should use the 25th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which allows for power to be transferred to him from the President if the Commander-in-Chief is unfit to govern. The letter says Donald Trump's actions on Wednesday stoked an act of insurrection and sought to undermine democracy. Before the attack on Congress, the President urged his supporters to fight against the election of Joe Biden and later released a video directed at rioters inside the Capitol building saying, "We love you." But Trump's removal from power would need to be approved by Congress, and the President has just 2 weeks left until his term ends. Sarah Walton, New York.
International reaction poured in, condemning the violence in the United States. European leaders have called for democracy to be respected amid condemnation of the scenes on Capitol Hill. Lucy Hoff has more from Brussels.
Europe watched the storming of the US Capitol with horror, with leaders across the continent calling for a peaceful transition of power. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg described the images as shocking and said the outcome of the democratic election must be respected. The Foreign Minister of France, Jean-Yves Le Drian, described events as a grave attack against democracy. Prime Minister of Spain, Pedro Sanchez, said he believed Joe Biden's presidency would survive this period of tension and unite the American people. Lucy Hoff, Brussels.
The coronavirus vaccine produced by Oxford University and AstraZeneca is now being rolled out by family doctors in England. It comes after many doctors have claimed that the National Health Service would not be able to cope if the hospital admission rate continues to climb. Several countries are struggling to roll out their vaccination programs. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go. Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What? Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No. Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this. To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The following is a production of Fenix Media. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the company or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s.
Surely you can't be serious. I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Here goes the last DJ.
Gentlemen, I wash my hands of this weirdness.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second hour of the Kristian Fenix radio show. It is Thursday, January 7th. We are your daily dose of laughs and levity in a crazy, crazy world. Still joined by my co-host, Mr. Tony Sanfilippo, with a nice, fresh, hot cup of tea. Tone, how you doing?
Doing good, buddy. It is good to be back on for hour number 2, the fast hour.
Yeah, it's always like the first hour is like, okay, that felt like an hour. Second hour is gone like that. It's blink of an eye.
Yeah, it goes quick, so.
Well, this is, being the top of the second hour, the interactive portion of the show where we want to hear from you guys, the listeners and watchers, about our topic of the day. Now, we do put that topic out the day in advance to give you guys a chance to call on the Fenix line at 855 Fenix Radio. That's 855 FENIX RDO or 855 336 4973. That way you can chime in and we'll play your call on the next day's topic. Or you can comment live on our Facebook live video at facebook.com/Kristian Fenix Radio. That's Kristian with a K, Fenix with an F, radio, of course, with an R. Just click on the live video and comment in there. Today's topic is Zoom horror stories. And it doesn't have to be just Zoom. It could be Skype. It could be Microsoft Meetings. Teleconferencing horror stories. Now, obviously, in the age that we're living in right now, a lot of people working from home, Zoom has become a huge thing. Not everybody quite understands how to use it, and then there's other people who take advantage of its use. For instance, for me, it was probably back in March, was at the other station working for the other guys and producing the morning show, and of course we were using Zoom to connect people up, and at that time we didn't have a password into place because really we didn't think we needed it. You know, obviously we had our unique meeting ID and people would join in through that single meeting ID. Well, somebody found that out, somehow broadcast it out to everybody, and before the show started, luckily it didn't go out over the air, opened up Zoom, and there were probably about 60 windows, half of them with penises just flopping around there in the wind, or people working out naked, and I have no idea why, or you know, who would do something like that, but yeah, so that was our Zoom horror story, just because you never quite know what to do when that happens. Obviously, we changed the meeting ID, we put a password into effect, and of course, you know, if you had the password and it leaked out, then you got into trouble if, you know, penises started showing up again. But, you know, that was a thing that a lot of people were running into, being hijacked on Zoom. It was a little disconcerting.
Yeah,
to say the least.
That's crazy, man. I can't say I've had any of the Zoom horror stories. I've heard of them, and it usually pertain to the random penises popping in. So
the other thing is, you know, always make sure that, you know, if you don't want your camera on, that you know, turn the camera off. Or if you don't want what you are saying to be heard, hit that mute button. Because, you know, even if you're having what you think is a private conversation and that mute button is still on, well, or, you know, unmuted, it can go out over and, you know, people can get hurt. And it's just, you know, be careful.
No, absolutely. Because you might say something that somebody else will hear that you might not want to hear. Things like that. Or like if you're gassy, like you ate at the King Buffet or something, you might be a little rumbly and grumbly, you know?
It's just the chair. It's the leather in the chair, I swear.
What was that? I think Ron pooped his pants.
Yeah, and the other thing with Zoom is what's the best way to put this? Test it out before you use it.
Yeah.
I've heard so many Zoom conversations and calls and things like that where people sound like they're in a fishbowl or that they're like 10 feet away from the microphone. If you're going to be using Zoom on a regular basis, get a USB mic, put earbuds in, don't make it sound like you're sitting on the crapper and, it's got that echoey sound to it.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. You and I have been doing Zoom before the pandemic.
Before it was cool.
Before it was cool. You and I used Zoom for our Proton Pack podcast, and it never got hacked, thank God. But, it comes with a lot of audio issues. We have to tinker with it, and we try to get on about 10-15 minutes before a podcast time, before a Fenix time, and there's usually issues with it. So
yeah, I mean, they've got so many little settings and things that you can do with it that if it's not set up right or you click the wrong setting, you can run into those sorts of issues. Now, with that being said, Zoom we have found is the best quality out of all the different services compared to Skype or Microsoft Meetings, which is why we continue to use it, but it's still not ideal.
Right.
So, am I boring you, Tone?
No, it's just one of those yawns sneaked in.
That's okay. But folks, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for your Zoom horror stories. When have things gone wrong on your teleconference? Go ahead and chime in now. Head over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Kristian Fenix Radio. That's Christian with a K, Phoenix with an F, radio with an R. Click on the live video and then comment in there. When we come back, folks, it is all about you. We want to hear about your Zoom horror stories. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
The most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m. and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks. This is the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Thursday, January 7th. We are smack dab in the middle of the interactive portion of the show where we want to hear from you guys, the listeners and watchers, about our topic of the day. And then at the end of this segment, we'll give you tomorrow's topic so you can call into the Fenix line at 855-Fenix-Radio. Now, if you do want to chime in, head over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Kristian Fenix Radio. Click into the live video, comment there. Again, our topic of the day is Zoom horror stories, basically video conferencing gone wrong. Gave you a couple examples in the last segment, but now we want to hear from you guys. Now, Tony, do you have anybody who chimed in on your end?
I do. I've got our daily listeners, the Yendras from Kearney, Nebraska, and Lacey said that all she has gotten is, I'm going to hold this up so I can look at the camera versus looking down. I think that would just be better. During her Zoom baby shower, her mother-in-law's clock chimed every 15 minutes. I totally remember that. We turned it into a drinking game. Of course, I was drinking water. Not really a horror story, more funny than anything. And I 100% agree. It was, it's one time where we had that was during the pandemic, early parts of the pandemic, before baby Anders was born. And Lacey had set up this nice, it was like everyone from the Shipleys and just all our friends all got together and we got to watch her open gifts and just chat with her. It was just a lot of people staring at their TVs, not knowing what they were doing.
Right.
But there was with the clock that chimed every 15 minutes. I didn't forget about that. That was a great story. Her husband, Michael, said anytime we use Zoom for work, it is a bleeping horror story. Bleep Zoom, bleep it in its bleeping ass. I love it. He also said, inconsistent user interface between platforms and devices. So damn fun to have to troubleshoot that bleep from halfway across the country for people with no tech skills. I hate that damn app.
Welcome to my world.
and I censored that down. But it's a great read. I'm reading that text message. And it's great, Michael. Thank you, brother.
Along the lines of Lacey's, again, early on I was producing a show where the guests were coming in via Zoom. And inevitably, somebody in their house had that smoke detector where the battery needed to be changed. And every couple minutes, that beep.
And then once you hear it, you don't unhear it. That's all you hear. Beep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they did it for days. It's have the courtesy to change the batteries in your smoke detector because it's just going to drive people nuts.
Oh, terrible.
Absolutely ridiculous. Anybody else chime in on your end, Tony?
No, I went to my Facebook feed, and all I got was, damn you, Minshew. So that must have been from an earlier one. Thanks, Cody. You are watching. Thanks, sis. Love it. Hi to my cousin, Andrew Sugarfree. I know you're listening and watching, too. So shout-outs.
Well, as we do, obviously we pull up some backup information for any of the topics, and some people on Twitter shared their Zoom horror stories, and so we'll go through a few of those.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Hold on to your butts.
For instance, this one from Twitter user Petty Clegg. Obviously, with Zoom, they've got the virtual green screens in the background or the Snapchat-type filters where, you can change your appearance a little bit. Well, Patty said, my boss turned herself into a potato on a Microsoft Teams meeting and can't figure out how to turn the setting off. So she was just stuck like this the entire meeting. And there's a screen picture of it. It's hilarious. Not only did she turn herself into a potato, but it also had the green screen background where she's a potato underground. And
It's just hilarious. Like, that's why, like, you ever see the people on Zoom, they use like the cheesy backgrounds, like, oh, I'm at a beach and things like that. And yeah, sure, sometimes they're funny, but sometimes people don't know how to use it, and it's just awkward.
Well, and that's the other thing. If you don't have an actual green screen, don't use the virtual ones, because what it does is it ends up like fading out portion of your face and your body, and it looks weird.
It is weird. It's a little goofy for sure.
Let's move on to the next one.
Hold on to your butt.
I like that one.
This from Twitter user Ruskin says, do not apologize when your pets jump into the frame on Zoom calls. Was just in a conference with the CEOs of major U.S. organizations, and Muffin jumped on my lap and the whole conversation stopped. Is that a cat? Show me the cat. Everyone needs a cat in these trying times. And I can say for a fact that, Jessie's done her Zoom calls from our rabbit room. We've got some rabbits that not only we own, but we also foster, and they'll pop every once in a while, and they are showstoppers. The meetings will come to a complete halt while everybody just sort of, awes and oohs over the bunnies themselves.
That bunny is so cute. His name is Niblets. Oh, cute.
So I'm thrown off because there's an ad with a nasty, like, toenail thing, and
I've seen that one. It's got like the white stuff on it. Yeah. Anytime I open, the entertainment news or something from Facebook, it's usually on that one when I click on it. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, let's move on with
delicious, right?
Oh yeah, Zoom horror stories.
Hold on to your butts.
This from Twitter user Josh Carlos Josh. Okay. Says behind
Josh Carlos Josh, he's in the land of Khazar. Ba, 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 ba.
Behind every successful woman is an unsuccessful man not wearing pants. And you hear stories about this all the time where somebody's on a Zoom meeting. Of course, they're in their home, and their significant other who doesn't realize quite what's going on will walk through the frame, Donald Ducking it, or completely naked, or it's can be quite disconcerting.
Hold on to your butt.
Speaking of which, let's move on to our next one.
Hold on to your butts.
This from Twitter user WB Jenna said, and again, if you're at home trying to do meetings and you've got kids, let them know when you're on the meeting. My kid just walked into my video conference, yelled, "Look at my penis," and hit the button on his fart machine. Working from home, going really great.
Yeah, it's going good. Mommy, what was the squeaks in the bedroom last night?
Whoa. Oh, man. And, again, this is the interactive portion of the show. So if you do want to chime in with your Zoom horror story, just head over to our Facebook page if you're not already there. Click into the live video and comment with your horror story. It's got to be as good as these ones, right?
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Hold on to your butts.
Hold on to them.
This from Twitter user Naya Blizzard says, enter first Zoom session for my World Theater History class. Classmate, what are the grades going to be like? My teacher, listen, it's the effing apocalypse. I really don't care as long as you come to the Zoom sessions everyone is getting an A. I love being a theater major. So, hey, that's one of those things. You just show up and automatically get an A. Very nice.
That's extremely nice.
Not so much of a horror story as it is just sort of a good side of things. All right. This one.
Hold on to your butts.
From Twitter user Rimsha says, day 3 of working from home, and my family started screaming while I was in a meeting, and my coworker remarked, now I understand why you prefer to go into the office every day, which is absolutely true. I mean, some people go to work to escape home, for lack of a better term. It can be tough when you are around certain people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Luckily, we don't run into that here with Jessie, but yeah, you know what? People go to work to escape life.
Yeah, it's kind of like, that's why I feel really bad for kids that have to do their schoolwork from Zoom and they have to be home to do it. You got to have that interaction outside of it. Like, home is home, work is work, school is school, right? Like, you have those different elements of life, but when you combine them all in one, like on paper, sometimes you think, well, that'd be awesome, but it can get tough. The Yendras, they do it really well. They've been doing at-home work together for years versus being in an office, because they work remotely. Their company's out of Florida, and They live in Nebraska, and they've done it very well. I'm sure I don't know if they've butted heads. They work in separate rooms. Michael has his office. Oh, they have a new house now, so I don't know how their setup is now completely. But Lacey would work from the kitchen and and then she chimes in. The trick is to work in different rooms, which they've done it well the entire time. They don't get on each other's nerves. They don't fight, at least not when I'm around. So they've done that before this whole dumb thing that happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you're right. For kids who are doing school teleschool or whatever you want to call it, they miss that social aspect. Obviously, a big part of school is being there with your friends and interacting and having those social interactions as opposed to just learning. So, I feel bad for the kids, but hopefully it'll all be over soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, I saw in Carson yesterday, the high school was back in action when I was helping my dad move. Yeah, there was like full on, a lot of students leaving at 2 o'clock.
All right.
Had some flashbacks of my time. Maybe I'll have to do a Carson High reboot.
There you go. Go back, shoot some video.
Yeah, I'll go back. I'll go be the gym teacher there. And then some kid will make fun of me for having 2 red balls under my arm like my punk ass did.
What goes around comes around.
I was trying to just impress a girl.
Well, let's move on with our Zoom horror stories.
Hold on to your butts.
This one is hilarious. From Twitter user Gareth Barlow says, if you do work from home and have a Skype meeting, always consider if the art on the wall is A, in shot, and B, appropriate. And there's a picture of him with an illustration of a farmer with its arm inside of a cow, for lack of a better term, and the hand is where the udders would be. It is disturbing and weird, and I'm sure it would have been a lot of fun to see if you opened up that Zoom window.
Well, at least they're having some fun with it, what's a train wreck too, with Zoom? If you watch YouTube's Reunited Apart, while it is great that they get back casts of old movies that we love, and you get them, when you get so many people on there, it is so weird to watch these celebrities not know what to do, or some do. Right. Like the main ones know where to look, they know what to say, but then you get when they bring in the musician, or they bring in the the lesser known or the less popular characters on the show, but they're like, hey, we got him on here anyways. Like the Cobra Kai one was great, but it was hard to watch because at one point you had so many people. And then it's like the Brady Bunch, right? They're all looking up, they're looking to the side. It's like, just look at the camera. You can't see the person next to you. There's no wall, you know?
That makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. And then finally, in the closing out the interactive portion of the show, Zoom horror stories.
Hold on to your butts.
This is one Tony and I have to deal with every once in a while. This from Twitter user Howard Pinsky says, working from home diary day 1. Power went out during our recording. Construction workers are extra loud today. Daughter walked in on a meeting singing "I Like Bananas" at the top of her lungs. We've run into the first 2, not so much the third one.
If some kid walks into my room while I'm at home singing "I Love Bananas," I'm going to be scared because I don't have a kid and it's just me.
Yeah, there's bigger problems.
You're going to freak me out.
But folks, that does it for this segment. When we come back, we've got a segment called I Saw the Sign. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Listen live at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix radio show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. Indeed. This is the Kristian Fenix radio show. It is Thursday, January 7th. Now we talk about the Fenix Line a couple times each day, and it is where you guys call in for the interactive portion of the show, which we just finished up. Tomorrow's topic is the best time travel movie. There's so many great ones out there. Obviously, Back to the Future is probably the biggest example, but there are some fun, obscure ones that people may not have seen. So we want you to chime in. Give us a call on the Fenix Line. Let us know what your pick is for the best time travel movie. That number, 855-PHOENIX-RADIO. That's 855-FENIX-RDO or 855-336-4973 for the alphanumerically impaired. All we ask is that you keep it entertaining. We'll compile those together, put them out in a future show. Now, in this segment, which we've aptly titled, I Saw the Sign. We often talk about how clever people here are on the show, between tweets and posts and text messages. But every once in a while, you see clever people out there in the real world who have crafted signs that just make your day. For instance, this one, you have this coffee shop sign that shrugs off the haters, says, "Come in and try the worst coffee one woman on TripAdvisor had in her life." You know what? Take those negative comments, turn them around, and have fun with it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Let's move on with I Saw the Sign. This sign knows exactly what the problem was. Big green sign on a fence with barbed wire on the top says, "This work center has been accident-free since Joe left."
That's pretty good.
Joe must have been the clumsy one there.
Yeah, damn it, Joe.
Now at Costco, I know our local one does. They've got like a little count up timer that, days without an incident or something along those lines. Do you have that there?
We do. We have it in our break room. That's crazy that they have it out for everybody to see. Ours is behind for just employees to see.
But it's good to know, obviously there's a lot of heavy objects, forklifts, a lot of moving pieces. And so,
it's hard to go a lengthy amount of time. If you can get to 90 days with accident free, our boss will make us like a steak lunch, which is pretty cool. It's like
nice.
a barbecue. Yeah.
How often does that happen?
We don't get it too often. No, when I first got there, we got it quite a bit. I think we got up to over 180 days. I don't know what the streak is at my current store.
Ooh, nice. So if you do 180 days, do you get it twice? 90 days times 2? Nice.
Yeah. So we've had it twice. So I know I've been there, but lately it seems like, you got the winter weather, so you get the people that strain their backs outside lifting heavy things. It's cold. They stub their toe. We had a guy pretend he was Super Mario, jumped over a pallet. You get some stuff.
When he didn't make it, did you get that womp 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 womp?
I don't. I'm sure he got it. Oh, but no! Wow, 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 wow.
Let's move on with I Saw the Sign. And we'll be posting these on our Facebook page, so if you want to see any of these signs for yourself, a little bit after the show ends, go ahead and head over to our Facebook page and you can check them out. They are genius. For instance, this sign that knows the struggle of trying to decipher that prescription slip says a wise doctor once wrote, and then underneath it is just a bunch of little scribbles. Doctors have the worst penmanship.
Yeah, I should have been a doctor because mine's pretty bad.
Moving on with I Saw the Sign. Obviously, being here in Nevada, northern Nevada, we've got our fair share of strip clubs and brothels and things along those lines. Well, this strip club took that opportunity for a pun. No, their sign didn't say closed. It said clothed till April 30th, which is quite apt for a strip club.
Yeah.
Here's a sign that, is basically a poster for the beloved family pet. Yeah, you see those posted on the telephone poles of, Lost Fluffy or whatever it is with the little pull tabs. Well, this one, Lost Roomba. His name is Higgins, does not bite. My husband left our bungalow door open and our Roomba escaped. We followed his cleaning track for 4 kilometers, and this must be out of the U.S., 4 kilometers down to the beach where we lost his trail. Higgins cannot swim. Please bring him home to us. Poor Higgins. But you know what? Our Roombas can be expensive. So, either somebody's got a brand new Roomba or, Higgins will be returned safely. No reward offered, unfortunately. Let's move on with I Saw the Sign. This one, brilliant. Bar sign that actually makes sense. It says preschool rules and bar rules are the same. You pee your pants, you go home. Fair enough.
Fair enough. As it should be. That means you've had too much to drink. If you have no self-control down there, it's time to go.
Right. And if you're in preschool and you're peeing your pants and you've had too much to drink, there's bigger issues.
Oh, absolutely. Some bad stuff.
All right, let's move on. We were talking about books earlier, physical books still being more popular than ebooks. Well, this bookstore sign that looks on the bright side of things, stuck in the snow, says cold, check out a book. You'll still be cold, but at least you'll have a book.
It's true.
That is very true.
Very true.
Sorry, I just glanced at our next one and so brilliant. I love when people are creative with these types of things. I saw the sign. There's this sign that comes with a very important warning from Hidden Springs Church. Says, laughter is the best medicine unless you have diarrhea.
Cha-cha-cha.
Then laughter actually might be the worst medicine, because if you're laughing too hard and you've got diarrhea, there's uncontrollable things happening.
That's not good.
Let's move on with I Saw the Sign. This one describes me perfectly at the end of the day. Very relatable. Sign says, my mind is like an internet browser. 19 tabs are open, 3 of them are frozen, and I have no idea where the music is coming from. I know we've all experienced that in the internet browsers, but by the end of the day, with everything that I'm juggling, I'm there. I just have to decompress and hit that reset button and start fresh for you guys every morning.
That's the best way to do it. You got to have a fresh take on everything.
Let's move on with I Saw the Sign. Here's a sign that sort of airs their employee woes. It's a Dairy Queen. Sign says, Abby, you need to show up for work. All right.
Okay.
It might be easier to call Abby, but
than putting her on blast like that, right. For sure.
Here's a perfect pun. This for a Jewish synagogue says Adam and Eve, first ones to ignore Apple terms and conditions. Of course, if you know anything about the Bible and the forbidden apple, you'll know that that is quite the pun. Ooh. We talked, what was it, yesterday, maybe 2 days ago? We're both more dog people, not so much cat people, but cats can have some interesting things that they do. For instance, this next sign. Makes you wonder how many times someone knocked before the sign was made. It's a glass door where at the very top of the glass door there is a real live cat that's sort of smushed between the curtain and the glass. And the sign says, this cat is not stuck. Thank you.
Well, that's good. Thanks for letting us know. That is well appreciated. We like that. Thank you.
And it makes you wonder how many people actually tried to get the cat down.
The cat's stuck. What do we do?
And then finally, a sign that perfectly illustrates what we all needed to be doing all along, but is now more apt than ever. This sign in a bathroom college says, wash your hands like you've been eating Doritos and you now have to take out your contacts.
Yeah, hey, that is a smart way to go about that. I've observed a lot lately of the hand washing between work and being at the airport, yada, yada. Man, a lot of people just go, okay, I'm good.
Yep.
I'm like, well,
they've gotten lazy. Wash your damn hands, people. Folks,
just wash it.
That does it for I Saw the Sign. When we come back, we're headed into the final segment of the show. It is time for This Day in History. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back. This is the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Thursday, January 7th. Can you believe we're already at the end of the show? Boy, the second hour just flies by. But if you missed a portion of the show, you want to go back and catch up on any of the previous shows, it is easy enough to do so. Head over to phoenixmedia.us, click on the show's link, scroll on down to the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. From there, you can get video, you can get audio as well, or head over to wherever you get podcasts. Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor Breaker, TuneIn, iHeart, Doozer, Dozer, Geezer, Gozer.
Are you a god?
Meagle just saved us from the Stay Puft. Folks, while you are there, be sure to subscribe. That way you always have the latest episode. Leave a review. Let us know what you think and tell your friends. Because why, Tony?
Sharing is caring.
We care so much that at this time every day, we drop a little knowledge, hopefully make you laugh at the same time. It is time for This Day in History.
First in the globe for the stories that turn the world on its head. It's This Day in History with your correspondent on the beat,
Kristian Fenix.
Thanks, Siri. All right, this day in 1610, Galileo Galilei discovers the first 3 moons of Jupiter, Io, Europa, and Ganymede. I wonder what Galileo Figaro would have thought about that.
Galileo Figaro.
Magnifico.
I'm an astronomer and physicist.
Physicist.
With a big beard. And a frowny face.
All right, moving on. This day in 1618, Francis Bacon becomes Lord Chancellor of England. Bacon.
Get in my belly!
Lord Chancellor Bacon here. One day I will have a great 2nd, 5th, 7th, 8th nephew named Kevin, and he will foot loose and shake it where dancing is illegal.
I had bacon this morning. It was delicious.
Oh, bacon.
This day in 1860, the Romney campaign. Stonewall Jackson marches towards Romney, West Virginia. I don't know if you're looking at the picture of him, Tone, but
Confederate general.
He's got a little lazy eye thing going on there.
Who can it be now? Who can it be now? That's what he looks like, just the beard.
Totally. Moving on, this day in 1894, early 5-second film of Fred Ott sneezing shot by Edison Manufacturing is the first ever copyrighted film footage.
Ha-choo! Copyright.
And while Thomas Edison is a known, I kind of want to say plagiarist, but yeah, he would take other people's ideas and make them his own and then patent them. He did a good job of it. Obviously, with what we're doing, with you people you people, being able to see...
Hey, use people right there. The 5-second film with Fred Hart, you know? I'm going to copyright that. Like, Joe! Copyright. I stole it from you.
You folks being able to see us live on video is all thanks to these early inventions, which is just awesome.
It's awesome.
So cool, so cool. All right, moving on down to 1916. This day, in response to pressure from President Woodrow Wilson, Germany notifies the U.S. State Department that it will abide by strict international rules of maritime warfare.
Oh, Woodrow. WW. Sorry, I think of the Woodrow from that Simpsons episode where Bart dates Mrs. Krabappel. I think I've referenced that once on This Day in History.
You may have.
Yeah.
You may have.
I live life through the Simpsons sometimes, the earlier ones.
All right. At this point, we typically skip through, late 30s through the mid 40s, just because
sad.
It's sad, it's scary, it's things that while it's important to remember, looking back on some of the atrocities that happened back then, not worth it.
No.
So we're going to skip ahead to 1955, where Marian Anderson becomes the first African American to perform with the New York Metropolitan Opera.
That's awesome.
That is very cool. I respect the opera. I probably will never be found dead at an opera.
No, I wouldn't either. But it's talent. And you could look at Marian Anderson just by her picture, and I bet she had a soulful voice. So that was
totally.
very nice.
Yeah, would have liked to have heard that.
Yeah.
Moving on this day in 1955, you've got...
55!
20-year-old future world heavyweight boxing champion Floyd Patterson scores a fifth-round TKO of Willie Troy in a non-title super middleweight bout at New York's Madison Square Garden. And every time they mention Floyd Patterson, they put up this picture of him in like Western gear. I assume he was an actor as well.
I must. I don't get it. It looks like he's something out of Bonanza in the picture. And
Totally.
on top of that, that's pretty cool that Madison Square Garden was around in 1955. I did not know that.
Right. Hosting big boxing matches.
Yeah, I thought that was something in the 70s for sure, but I didn't realize it went back to the 50s. That's pretty damn cool.
And there you go.
No wonder they call it the world's most famous arena. I was excited to go there. I mean, you could feel it. Just feels cool to be inside of that place.
There's a lot of history there,
Yeah.
for sure. This day in 1958, Gibson issued U.S. patent for the Flying V guitar.
Ooh.
And again, I think that was sort of before its time as well. I mean, the Flying V is something that was big in the 80s. 1958?
I thought Dave Mustaine of Megadeth created that.
No.
Hello, me. I created it in the world of the Flying V. But then I left for a company named Jackson. Oh, yeah. No, I'm just kidding, Dave. Just kidding.
This day in 1959, the U.S. recognizes Fidel Castro's Cuban government. And of course, on that same day, American gangster Meyer Lansky flees Cuba for the Bahamas due to the Cuban Revolution and rise of Fidel Castro.
Yeah, I'm going down to the Bahamas, see? Yeah, Cuban cigars are coming with me. Yeah, I'm Meyer Lansky. Yeah. He looks like Landry from the Packers.
Totally.
Yeah, that little thing.
Moving on this day in 1970, farmers sue Max Yasgur for $35,000 in damages caused by the Woodstock Festival.
Ooh.
That would have been one of those events that I would have loved to have been at. Obviously historic, but imagine cleanup afterwards.
Yeah,
Ugh.
they're not social distancing and they're not wearing their masks. Very offended.
How dare them?
Yeah, I wonder how much damage that was compared to the 1999 one when they had all the bad-ass nu metal bands. Like during Limp Bizkit said, I know that caused the most. Like remember they were lighting stuff on fire and all that.
I forgot about that. Yeah. This day in 1979, the NFC Championship game at the LA Memorial Coliseum. Dallas Cowboys beat the Los Angeles Rams 28-0, which if they played nowadays would probably be the opposite.
And you know what's cool is that in the AFC one, the Steelers beat the Oilers. Like I bet that was a really awesome Super Bowl back in the 70s.
That would have been fun to see.
That's when the steel curtain was really big, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still good. I mean, the Steelers still have a real good chance of getting there this year too. But awesome. Cowboys, however, no.
Not so much.
Not so much.
This day in 1983, President Reagan ends the U.S. arms embargo against Guatemala. That's just fun
Ronald
to say.
Reagan, the actor?
And that's the only reason I did that one, Tony, is because I knew you were going to pull that one out. Moving on, this day in 1991, Saddam Hussein prepares his troops for what he says will be a long, violent war against the U.S. Wasn't long. It was somewhat violent, and of course, we found him in his little bunker a few years later.
Yeah, and I always I remember during this time frame as a kid, I was like, so his name's So Damn Insane? I really thought that. So every time I hear Saddam Hussein, I hear in my head, So Damn Insane. And that's what I thought as a kid.
Hey, it works.
Stuck.
It absolutely works. This day in 1998, former White House intern Monica Lewinsky signs affidavit denying she had an affair with President Clinton. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
And that was not, I can't explain the white stain on her dress. Maybe she had a latte.
This day in 1998, Los Angeles Lakers center Shaquille O'Neal blocks 3 shots in a 114-102 win over Milwaukee to bring his career total to 1,002.
He's so tall. How did you shoot against Shaq?
Right. I
mean, the guy's just a massive, tall human being.
Just a massive, massive man.
He is, and he's funny too. I like that he looks the same now as he did when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
I really like his transition outside of the NBA. He's pretty entertaining. Not I don't want him in movies to be the main guy. What was that? It wasn't Shazam. Kazam.
Yeah.
Oh God, that was terrible.
That was pretty bad.
So bad.
And then finally, this day in 2011, The King's Speech, starring Colin Firth, Geoffrey Rush, and Helena Bonham Carter, is released in the UK. That was a good movie. Obviously we talk a lot about genre and action movies, but if you get a chance to check it out, wonderful, wonderful acting.
Mm-hmm.
And then before we leave you guys for the day and head on into Friday, let's run down some of today's holidays, shall we? And this is the point of the show where Tony would normally cut me off with that, but today is Distaff Day. I have no idea what that is.
No.
It is Harlem Globetrotters Day. I think they've only ever...
Scoob, it's the Harlem Globetrotters.
I think they've only ever lost once in their entire career.
Well, they were just, I don't know. I never was big on them.
It is I'm Not Going to Take It Anymore Day.
No, I'm not. You're done. You're fired.
International Programmers Day.
Ooh.
It is National Tempura Day. Ooh, that sounds yummy.
It does.
National Bobblehead Day.
Ooh, get yourself some pop bobbleheads.
National Old Rock Day.
Ooh, I'll listen to some old rock.
And Tony, this one's for you. National Pass Gas Day.
Yeah, just kidding. That was a fake fart.
Folks, that does it for today's show. We'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode. And good news, everyone, as we do on Fridays. Enjoy your Thursday. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye-bye.